So today we will discuss different types of product applications in the US, then how those applications are reviewed and approved in how much time, and very briefly we will discuss the CTD format. Because you are well aware about the CTD format and technical requirements, we will mostly work on the review, approval timelines, and the types of product applications. So in the US, basically there are 5 types of applications for pharmaceutical products. Okay, we are focusing on pharmaceutical products today. So the main 5 types of applications are IND, that means investigational new drug; NDA, that is new drug application; ANDA, most popular amongst Indian pharma companies is ANDA, abbreviated new drug application, that is for generic products. Then there is biologic license application, that is also gaining a lot of popularity and a lot of demand in India, BLA. And at the end, we will discuss the last category, which is over-the-counter drugs, the OTC drugs. Okay, so let's start with the first category. What is investigational new drug application, IND application? So, Sojanya, have you ever heard of IND application, or do you know anything about IND application?
Yes, sir. Yes, like in order to conduct the clinical trials, you have to take the IND application forward. So we get the permission,
Yeah,
then we can do the clinical trials and apply for the NDA
yes,
for the
nice,
market authorization. Yeah.
yes, true. So, to start any clinical trial in the US, you need to first submit an IND application. Okay, now let me tell you the basic purpose of the IND application. See, whenever a new drug is innovated, if it is directly given to the patients in clinical trials, there are chances of safety concerns. There may be some risks involved. Okay. So to uh, start clinical trials, we need to first take approval of the authority. We cannot just start clinical trials, okay, because you are putting human beings at risk with clinical trials. So US FDA requires the applicant to file an IND application and give some introduction about their drug. Okay. Based on their introduction, the efficacy and safety profile, the US FDA will allow the applicant to conduct the clinical trials. So the first step is to have an IND application filed. Now, how will US FDA know that your research drug is safe or relatively safe for human beings, even though it has never been tried on the human beings? So US FDA will assess the preclinical data, that means animal data. You can start animal studies without filing any IND or any kind of application to the US FDA. You can start preclinical studies. Based on the data of the preclinical studies, that means animal pharmacology and toxicology studies, you can propose the human studies for the first time. Okay. So in the IND application, you have to submit 3 types of data to the US FDA for them to approve your clinical trials and your IND. The first type of data that you will submit is animal pharmacology and toxicology studies. Okay. Uh, See, whenever a new innovative drug is invented, it takes several years for animal studies to complete. They will do animal studies on several species like rats, mice, dogs, monkeys, rabbits, and all. They will gather enough data of pharmacokinetics, toxicology, pharmacology, mechanism of action, and then they will build a confidence. It's not that only one animal study will help the applicant to build confidence. There needs to be a variety of animal studies according to the requirements. They may be pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, and toxicology studies. So you have to compile all those data and make it as a part of your IND application. So first and most important part is your animal studies data. Second part of the dossier will be manufacturing information. So whatever your drug products composition, the level of the excipients, the quantity of excipients, the quantity of API, the manufacturing process, who is the manufacturer, what is the stability. So that all things you have to include. This way, the authority will assess, the US FDA will assess how is the quality of the product. Okay. So along with the animal studies, they also want to check the quality of the products, and quality of the product is dependent on your manufacturing and other information. So 3 month stability data you have to submit. In a normal dossier for a full application, how many months stability data is required? Are you aware for a generic or innovative product application?
So usually for applying for India, I know for applying for the preclinical, wherein to conduct the animal studies, and we need to submit 3 months data.
Yeah.
Later on, when we are submitting the clinical for clinical application, we need to submit 6 months data.
Yes, true. So similar is the case with US FDA. In the IND, you have to submit 3 months stability data. Okay. When your clinical trials are over, now you're submitting the full new drug application. Then you have to submit at least 6 months data. But before approval, you should submit 12 months data. Without 12 months data, US FDA will not give approval. At the time of submission, they allow 6 months data, but because the review time is also 1 year, so by that time they review, you also get 12 months data, and then they will approve your product. But in case of IND, you just have to provide 3 months accelerated and long-term data. Okay. So this is the second information. First information was
About
about
the accelerated and long term.
3 months data, both
Okay.
accelerated and long-term. Yeah.
For the clinical.
For IND application. to
Okay, sir.
to start the clinical application, clinical
Sure.
trials. And the third part that you have to give is the clinical protocols and investigator information. So whatever clinical trials you have planned, suppose you have planned 10 clinical trials or 8 clinical trials, you have to provide the protocols. Protocols is something design of the study. So before conducting the design, you need to have the design, the protocol, and that protocol you have to submit to the US FDA. Okay, so US FDA will review all this data, animal studies, CMC information, and third one is your protocols. Okay, you haven't started the clinical studies, but you have kept the protocols ready. And those protocols will be reviewed by the FDA. After submitting this IND application, you have to wait for 30 days. Suppose you submitted your IND application on 30th July. So you have to wait till 29th or 30th August, whenever 30 days complete. If US FDA doesn't send any query on your IND application, that means from the next day onwards, you can start the clinical trials. So till 29th August, if FDA does not send any query, that means from 30th August onwards, you can start clinical trials. That means FDA has approved your IND. But during these 30 days, if FDA asks any deficiency, suppose on 15th August, US FDA sent some query on all your data and gave you a timeline of 14 days or 1 month. So when you respond to your query, suppose they gave 1 month timeline from 15th August to 15th September. You submitted your responses on 15th September, and then again they will review for few weeks, and then they will give you an approval. So if query is received, then your 30 days timeline will be extended. But if there is no query received, you can consider your IND as approved, and you can immediately start doing clinical trials. Is this part clear?
Yes, sir. Like I want a little clarification regarding the stability data. Regarding IND, we have to submit the RT and AT for the 3 months.
Yes.
So what about the stress that we usually do for the Indian markets?
Stress study is not required for IND. That you will
Okay.
require when you submit the full NDA.
Okay, sir. So
IND, they,
basically, mm,
yeah,
so after all the clinical trial, then we have to submit all the 12 months and 6 months data for the accelerated 6 months data, RT 12 months data, and stress 3 month one, like stress 1 month data.
yes,
Is it correct,
exactly.
sir? uh,
Yes, yes.
I think now I'm clear.
Yeah. And also, let me give you an example with the chronology. Okay, suppose
Yeah.
a company started doing animal studies in 2021. Okay, for 5 years they did several animal studies, and now in 2026 July they are ready with their animal studies. They have also manufactured few batches. They may be small scale batches also, and they have prepared their clinical protocols, but they haven't started clinical trials. So whatever they have prepared from 2021 to 2026, they will submit in an IND. Okay. So after submission, after 1 month or 2 months, their application, IND application will be approved. Suppose in August 2026, their IND application is approved. From September onwards, they will start clinical trials. Clinical trials also take several years. Suppose clinical trials take another 5 years. Till 2031, they are doing clinical trials. Once they have the data of clinical trials, then they will manufacture fresh exhibit batches, submission batches in 2030 or 2031. And they will generate CMC data like stress studies, stability data, process validation, or BMRs or anything. And then they will submit their product application in 2031. And then their product will be reviewed by a US FDA. It will take approximately 1 to 2 years. And then in 2032 only they can start selling their product in the US FDA. So IND application is filed several years before the actual NDA or ANDA can be filed. This is just filed for further research and further clinical trials, not for the product approval. Is this chronology clear to you?
Yeah, yes, sir. I just want to repeat for clarification. For example, on 2021, yeah, like if several animal studies were done and they got the final conclusion that the drug is safe,
Yes.
so they filed for the IND, and in
Yeah.
that as well, 2026 July they filed for the animal studies. So
Yeah.
like using the animal studies, now they have filed for IND for clinical studies. Then they got
Yeah.
the approval on August.
Yeah.
They start on September. So
Okay.
now
Yeah.
by 2026 September, it is just the clinical trial beginning. So
Yes.
by the end of the suppose take 4 months. So by the end of the year, not even by the end of the year, so they finished the clinical trials somehow and applied for the NDA. Now
Yes.
they got the approval, and then after approval they go for the 2031 execute batches. Then even after getting the NDA, they have to wait for 2 years and then keep the stability, test the stability. Then only they are eligible for the after giving the submitting 1 or 2 years of data, then only they were eligible for the post, like, is that correct, sir?
No, minor correction. You were
Yeah.
correct till the IND application. IND is
Yeah.
approved, then clinical trials start in 2026. Then until clinical trials finish, they don't file any other application. Once clinical trials finish, they will manufacture fresh exhibit batches, submission batches. So after IND approval, two steps are there: clinical trials completion generation of CMC data with new PV batches or exhibit batches.
Just a minute,
And
sir. I'll just note
yeah,
down.
yeah, you may note down.
After the IND application, they approval, they have two parts.
Yeah, they will
One
start.
is
One is clinical
clinical
trials.
trial.
Yeah, after clinical trials are over, they are confident with their product. Now they manufacture submission batches, three submission batches for each strength. Okay. So what do they have now?
Uh, Sir, can I ask how long it takes for the clinical trials?
It takes several years, sometimes two
Okay.
years, 4 years. This is uncertain.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
there is no fixed. If a company has a very stringent timeline, then
yeah.
they may start several clinical trials at a time. But that is
So can
risky.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, can I ask like if for biologics, the clinical phase 2 is waived for biosimilars actually.
Yeah.
So in that case, it may be little less time consuming. Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes. 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 Biosimilar.
I think, yeah,
Yeah. The whole chronology that we just now discussed is for new products, new biologics or
yeah,
new drug
yeah,
chemicals.
yeah, yeah,
So for them, it is taking so long. Suppose
yeah,
any company has 20, they invented one product, they have 20
yeah,
years patent.
yeah,
So 8 to 10 years out of those 20 years patent are
yeah,
gone during in the trials and IND stage only. They are only
yeah,
left with 10 to 12 years of patent
yeah,
before when they start commercializing. So the
yeah.
chronology that I explained is only for the newer drugs. For generic,
Mm,
generic or biosimilar, it will not take so long.
yeah. So
Biosimilars,
after
it can,
manufacturing,
yeah,
after manufacturing the submission batches, then what's the step, sir?
yeah.
We
Then
got the confidence
they,
on the product. Yeah,
yeah, they now have sufficient data. They now have animal data, clinical data, CMC data, batch data, everything. Okay, so they will compile all this data and they will submit in NDA or BLA application. Okay, so after IND, the next application will be NDA or BLA, nothing in between.
yeah,
In between, there will be only the applicant exercise, that is clinical trials, batch manufacturing, product development, and all.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so after IND is done, the main activity of clinical trials. And why clinical trials take 4 5 years? Because you cannot start all types of clinical trials together. You have to do
yeah,
stepwise. Like you
yeah,
have to do first phase one, where minimal dose is given to check the safety.
yeah,
Then you have to
yeah,
do little higher dose, more number of patients, up to 100 patients, and you have to check pharmacokinetics and mechanism of action in the phase two. Then
yeah,
once you are confident in phase two, then only you invest in phase three. Okay, phase three
yeah,
has thousands of patients and several
yeah,
clinical trials, some for safety, some for efficacy. Suppose one product has three indications: diabetes, hyper, along with diabetes, also lipid lowering, both activities. So they will conduct separate clinical trials for diabetes, separately for lipid lowering effects. So you cannot directly jump to phase three. You have to have confidence in phase one and phase two, and then only phase three. And authority will also not allow you to directly jump to phase three because they are highly risky trials involving thousands of patients. Not only the patient safety, but companies' money is also at stake because doing a study in thousands of patients, they have to spend billions of rupees or dollars. So first they need to build confidence in animal studies, then clinical studies. Once they have confidence, then they will file the NDA application. So the chronology I explained is too long, and actually this much time is taken for a new drug to come to the market.
Yeah. Sir, one general question.
Yeah,
What if a molecule came under phase two and then it proved as it's not working? What about the money? Like, if the money burden is only on the like the investor or on the government, because some what we say
yeah,
some funds they would get. What is that
yeah,
scenario, sir?
yeah. So mostly the risk is of the company. They have
Okay.
to do research in such a way that they are sure that this product will go through phase 3 and it will pass clinical trials. But if it fails in phase 1 or phase 2, or any new surprising adverse event is found in phase 1, phase 2, then they have to stop the development at that stage itself. So they
Okay.
have to design the animal studies in such a way that they are confident that it will pass in clinical trials. Okay. Many drugs fail at the animal study stage, so they have to stop it right there and make some modifications in the drug, identify what is the structure activity relationship, what changes do we do that this side effect or this adverse event is not found in animals. Similarly, if during clinical trials they found that the drug is failing or safety concern is there or proper efficacy is not there, then
Yeah.
they can make minor modification. They can add one double bond or any little chemical structure change based on the chemistry structure relationship, and they can restart their development accordingly. So it is
So,
always a risk at the innovator's part.
yeah. So what about the INDs at that time, because they found it at the phase two?
Yeah, so again they have to go back and do animal studies and file for IND if they
Uh-huh.
found. Yeah, so whatever experience they gained with animal and up to phase 2 studies,
Yeah.
that will only help them to have more confidence in the next chemical that they manufacture. So
Yeah.
entirely their investment is not in vain,
Mm.
but they have to invest more again. So that's
More.
why Indian companies do not usually go for innovative products, because it is estimated that it takes more than $1 billion investment in a new drug product. Okay,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
many pharma companies in India, their total size is not 1 billion also. So even if they sell their
So
entire
you're
company,
not
they
audible.
cannot develop. Sorry. Yeah. So even if
It's
they,
breaking, sir.
yeah, Pranav, are you there?
So now it is fine.
Is it better now? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it is fine.
Okay. So
So
yeah,
I have
yeah,
another question. Like, are there any forms that we have to intimate that we are doing the R&D? Because for Indian markets, for any substance that we are about to start, for example, for the biosimilar, for any molecule we are starting R&D, even for the clone procurement, we have to have some forms sending to the at least state FDAs, like what we say, state
yeah, yeah,
authorities or the central authority. We
yeah,
have to at least. What about this? Uh, what about the same part in US?
yeah. It, in the US, you don't have to write to or apply to US FDA. There can be local state bodies or ethical
Yeah,
committees. From ethical
yeah,
committees, you have to take approval before doing animal studies,
yeah.
not the FDA.
Sir, for example, if they started a manufacturing, sorry, R&D unit, they're gonna register, that's fine. But what if they were starting a new molecule, or they were doing a ANDA molecule, and no authority knows that they were started. Is it like that, or they have to intimate? Is there any form for that? Any procedure?
Yeah, they have to intimate to the local state body.
Oh,
So
okay.
it depends from state to state. Like Florida may have different local body, and Texas may have different local body. So
Okay.
it depends on state to state. It's not generalized. So you have to
Yeah.
contact the state authority to,
Mm.
because it's a new center, new establishment. So definitely from the
Okay.
state authority you have to get the approval.
Yeah. So basically, the forms will be different for the regions, as if in India it is C1.
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
for US it is vast variety. I mean, there is
Many
no
countries.
standard. Yeah, not standard one practice or
Yeah.
standard form. Depends from state to state. Nothing
Okay, sir.
standard.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is about the IND application and its role
Yeah.
in the entire drug development.
Yes, sir.
So once IND is done, clinical trials are done, all the data is generated, we go to the next application type, which is known as NDA, new drug application.
Yeah.
So in the US Parliament, there is an act, FDNC Act, Federal Drug and Cosmetic Act. Under that act, there are two important sections, 505(b)(1) and 505(b)(2). So if you have a new drug, entirely new chemical entity, innovative product, then you have to file a new drug application uh, under section 505(b)(1). That means you have to provide full animal studies, clinical trials, phase 1 to phase 3, and all the CMC data. Entirely new chemical falls under 505(b)(1). But if your chemical is not entirely new, you have just made some important modifications in an entirely new product. Suppose the example which we were taking, that a product is getting approved in 2031. Suppose that product is rosuvastatin. Rosuvastatin is a very old product, but just take an example that it is rosuvastatin. In 2031, it gets approved as an entirely innovative product. In 2035, some other company or the same company makes changes in important parameters of rosuvastatin, then it will fall under 505(b)(2). What changes? You may note down. Change in indication, dosage form, strength, dosage form, or route of administration. Suppose rosuvastatin in 2031 was first time approved as a tablet dosage form. But in 2035, innovator now thinks capsule is also beneficial, even more beneficial. So they change the dosage form. One of these four important characteristics, either dosage form, strength, indication, or route of administration. So they change dosage form. Then it's neither a generic application nor a innovative application, right? It's something in between, and that is known as 505(b)(2) application. Here, to convert tablet dosage form into capsule dosage form in the market, you have to perform few clinical trials. Not all phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, because safety and efficacy of rosuvastatin is well known. Now only you have to prove that capsule is as uh, having same bioavailability or more bioavailability than tablet dosage form, or any other additional advantage. You have to do few clinical trials. So whenever you are making change in the innovator product in any of these four parameters, you have to file a 505(b)(2) application, because it will not fall under generic application. Suppose rosuvastatin tablet was with oral route in 2031, and in 2035 innovator thought that this can be administered as a suppository from the rectal route. So then also route of administration, although it's tablet only, but route of administration changed. Then also it will not be a generic, it will be 505(b)(2) application. You have to submit partial safety and efficacy data. Or if strength is changed, suppose rosuvastatin is 10, 20, 40 mg in 2031. Later, innovator thought that 80 mg is more efficacious. So they have to provide safety data, safety clinical trials on 80 mg. They are changing the strength. Then too, it will fall under 505(b)(2) application. Are these two types of applications clear to you?
Yes, sir, clear. Actually, a small doubt, like based on 505(b)(1, so we will prove some things, but if at all, yeah, for example, the strength or something got changed, there is some criteria needed to prove, like uh, for activity, it is well active, but coming to the safety part, it is having little concerns based on the studies. So then we have to prove in the clinical trials, or else it is not
Yes.
needed. Is it like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
clinical trials are required in this. Not all, but few, to prove
But
the
few.
safety of the new version, new dosage form or
So
new strength.
any guidelines or any data that should support the background in order to say this is not needed?
Uh, that for that you can follow ICHE guidelines. There
Okay, okay.
ICHE and ICHS guidelines. Okay, there entirely details in different guidelines are given that when efficacy trials are required, when safety trials are required. So USFD
Mm,
also follows S and E guidelines.
mm, yeah. Okay, sir, I'll go through.
Yeah. So these are two types of NDAs, 505(b)(1) and 505(b)(2).
Yeah.
Now we come to the most common and popular ANDA, that is pure generic product. And this falls under section 505J of FDNC Act. Okay. Here, suppose in 2031, innovator was approved, the patent expired and exclusivity expired in 2041. Then generics will start entering with the same dosage form, rosuvastatin tablets, 10, 20, and 40 mg oral route, same quality and performance characteristics. Then they can file ANDA to get the generic product approval.
Yeah.
So this is ANDA. Here, uh, animal and clinical data is not required. Only bioequivalent study is required. B
Mm,
study which proves that innovator and generic product are behaving similarly in human body, same pharmacokinetics, same bioavailability.
yeah.
Only that one clinical study is required, that too in oral dosage form. If it is intravenous or intramuscular, then bioequivalent study is also not required for generic products
Yeah.
because it is directly going to bloodstream. So
Sir,
for yeah,
one doubt, like what is the significant difference between bioequivalent and therapeutically equivalent, like TE and BE? Because uh, uh, when it is bioequivalent, can we state it as therapeutically equivalent?
yeah, nice question. So uh, bioequivalence does not automatically mean therapeutically equivalent.
Yeah.
Uh, for therapeutic equivalence, in addition to bioequivalence, the clinical aspects like same indications, mainly indications have to be same safety profile. Okay, then only it is called as therapeutically equivalent. Suppose there is one drug, celecoxib, and the innovator is claiming that neuro neuromuscular pain and skeletal muscle pain, both the indication, and you are bringing generic. and it is same behaving, same pharmacokinetics in the body, but you are only claiming neuromuscular pain, not skeletal muscle pain. So different indication. That means although your generic is bioequivalent, but still it is not therapeutically equivalent.
Okay. Sir, can I know, like, if they didn't prove neuromuscular, that does mean it is skeletal, it is not working for skeletal muscular pain. Because if the drug is therapeutically considered bioequivalent, means same amount of drug, exactly same amount of
Hmm.
quantity at some particular time within the blood, exactly at the same particular time, then why can't it be the same, like, what
Yeah,
what is that we can say it is not?
yeah. So here comes the main part, the intellectual property. Suppose innovator initially approved celecoxib only for neuromuscular pain, and after 5 years they found out in new clinical trials that it is used in skeletal muscle pain also. They filed a patent
Yeah,
that is known as use patent,
yeah,
and generics are
yeah,
allowed to apply for neuromuscular pain. They are not allowed to apply for skeletal muscle pain because the patent is active. So although celecoxib generic version will be applied, will be approved, and it is also bioequivalent, but the generic product cannot
just
claim
a minute,
skeletal
audio
muscle
disconnected.
in the label. So doctor cannot consider the generic celecoxib as therapeutic equivalent to the innovator. So this is how the difference between a bioequivalent and therapeutic equivalent is.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they can't am I audible? Because your voice is a
Yeah.
little breaking.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me. You are audible.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, like, am I just little breaking from my side. Okay, I'll just have a question. Like, so basically, because the patent have filed, we can't claim it.
Yes.
So because it is not proved, we can't say it as therapeutically equivalent.
Hmm.
Because it is not approved for that indication.
Yes.
Yeah, so it may be bioequivalent, but still, like, chemically it is bioequivalent. But coming to action, we can't prove that it is having the same action.
Yeah, it's not therapeutically equivalent.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sir, I got it.
Yeah. Uh, so this is how ANDA application is filed. Okay, you have to prove bioequivalent. Okay, and if you are the first generic, suppose in 2041, you are the first generic of rosuvastatin, then you also get 180 days generic exclusivity.
Yeah,
If you have challenged the patent, see again I come back to the chronology. What innovators do in 2031, their
yeah,
product got approval, okay, and their
yeah,
patent will expire in 2041. So they do
yeah,
strategies, and somewhere in between, in 2035 or 2038, they will apply for new patent. Okay,
yeah,
suppose they applied for new patent in 2037. That means they are paid now.
yeah,
They have nobody, no generic can come till 2057. Okay.
yeah,
So sometimes some generic companies challenge the innovator that the new patent that you have applied in 2037 is
yeah,
not an innovation. It's just another
yeah,
normal development. So if any
yeah,
generic company dares to challenge the innovator company and
yeah,
prove that their patent is not a new invention, then they get the 180 days generic exclusivity. That means from 2041 for 6 months, only innovator and that generic company will be in the market. So
yeah,
to avoid such types of false practices and such types of strategies by the innovators
yeah,
to extend the
yeah,
validity of patent, FDA has
yeah,
put this benefit. If any generic can prove, then they get extra exclusivity. And this 6 months where they are exclusively available, they can make huge profits. So that's why this is a good strategy for generic companies, and many big Indian generic companies are going with this approach of challenging newer patents, which are not
Yeah.
inventions.
Sir, can I know more about this? Because without having any product, we can't get the generic exclusivity. So how can we challenge? Like means what? In what regards challenge means?
Okay, now suppose the there were 4 steps in the synthesis of rosuvastatin. Step 1,
Yeah.
step 2, step 3, step 4.
Yeah.
And it had the patent, and that patent is valid till 2041. Now,
Yeah.
in one of these 4 steps, innovator introduced some minor modification like change the reactant or change the catalyst, and said that now it's a new route of synthesis and I want a patent for this new route of synthesis. And they
Yeah.
obtained the patent also. So generic
Yeah.
companies prove that changing the solvent or changing the catalyst does not make it a new route of synthesis. It's just a small change, a developmental change, cannot be considered as an invention. Okay, so if
Yeah.
you think that this is not an invention, this was just an example, route of synthesis. Okay, there can be
Yeah.
formulation uh, strategy also. If they change something in one excipient in the formulation, and they claim that now I have new
Yeah.
formulation and I want new patent. So
Yeah.
suppose instead of one disintegrant, they change to another disintegrant. So generic will prove just by changing the disintegrant, you cannot call it a new invention. It is the
Yeah.
same formulation with little developmental changes. Then they
Yeah.
win the case, and then they get this exclusivity.
Yeah. Yes, sir, I got it.
Is it clear now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I proceed to the next type of application, biologic license application.
Yeah.
Uh,
More applies to me.
Sorry.
More applies to me.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Um,
think, Sojana, this topic may take longer. So should we continue it in our next class? Because it won't finish in 10-15 minutes.
like I am okay actually.
Yeah. Okay, so let
So
me
it's up to
start.
you.
Yeah, I will start it. Then at 7:30 we will stop, and then uh, we will proceed with the next session. Okay, I will give you an introduction first.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as I said, that for small molecules (NDAs), uh, there are 2 types of application: NDA and ANDA. Okay, and they
Yeah.
fall under FDNC Act. While biologic products fall under Public Health Services Act. And within the USFDA, there is another division, CBER, Center for
Yeah.
Biologic Evaluation and Research. This center evaluates or reviews these kinds of applications.
Yeah.
So, uh, for for NDA, it was FDNC Act. For BLA, it is PHS Act. For NDA, the division was CDER, Center for Drug Evaluation and Research. Here, the division is CBER, Center for Biologic Evaluation and Research. NDA and ANDA are listed in the Orange Book, while BLA's products, biologic products, are listed in the Purple Book. In the next class, I will show
Yeah.
you both Orange Book and Purple Book, how they look and what can be searched and what can be interpreted from that Orange and Purple books.
Yeah.
So, biologic products means that their structure and their chemistry is similar to biological molecules. Like they can be cytokines, growth factors,
Mm.
which are found in human or animal body, enzymes, immunomodulators, and thrombocytins. They are long chain molecules. Okay, not small
Yeah.
molecules. In small molecules, we have a molecular weight of maybe 50, 100, 200. Here we have molecular weights in thousands, several
Mm.
cycles, several amino acids. So
Yeah.
uh, these biologic products are extracted from animals or microorganisms and may also be synthesized with recombinant technologies and
Yeah.
other non-vaccine therapeutic immunotherapies. So all these products fall under BLA, Biologic License Application. So
Yeah.
BLA is of two types: 351A under PHS Act and Section 351K under the PHS Act. Like in NDA, we had 505B1 and 505B2 under the FDNC Act. Here it is PHS Act
Yeah.
and the section is 351A and 351K.
Okay.
Like in NDA, there was ANDA for generics. Here there is no ABLA. BLA
Yeah.
is only BLA. For
Yeah.
generics also it is called BLA. For innovator also it
Yeah.
is called BLA.
Really?
So 351A is totally new innovative biologic product and 351K is for biosimilars where you do not have to do all the clinical trials from phase 1 to phase 3. You only have to do certain clinical trials and that's why they are called as biosimilars. That means innovator already is there in the market. You are bringing a similar copy.
Yeah.
So it is not called generic because generic in biologic products you cannot completely replicate. There are always going to be differences in the sequence of the molecule or something. That's why they are known as biosimilars, not generics. So in the small molecules, there were three types of application: NDA 505B1, NDA
Yeah.
505B2, and ANDA. In
Yeah.
biologics, there are only two applications: 351A and 351K. This is for entirely new products, and
Yeah.
biosimilars is falls under 351K. Only two types of application, no ABLA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sir,
this,
here what is that data described by FDA means what?
sorry.
Here they've given like like will the FDA review our data and ask for some descriptions? Like you need to do this study and this study or something like that?
Yeah, for biosimilars, there is a guidance. Suppose for specific types of biosimilars, there are specific guidelines in US FDA.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
within US FDA, if you go to the guidance section, there will be a section of biologics. Suppose your product is low molecular weight heparin, like uh, enoxaparin. Okay, so enoxaparin is kind of a biologic product. So for low molecular weight heparins, to, you don't have to do bioequivalent study. You have to do a biosimilarity kind of clinical trial. And what kind of clinical trials and what in vitro and lab studies you have to do to prove the similarity? That is mentioned in the low molecular weight heparins guidance. Okay, so for different types of biologics, there are different guidelines. And then there are product specific guidelines also, which mention that what exactly you need to prove to show the similarity. Okay, I will show you an example of enoxaparin, what studies you need to do. Okay, I will exit from the, I think for today, this will be the last slide.
Yeah.
Uh, Next session, we will see the OTC products. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me take you to I will share my screen once again.